Hello everyone, welcome to today's Water Cooler Chat, where we talk about all things Livepeer, whether it's orchestrating, broadcasting, delegating, or developing. We are here to answer some questions, and ask some good questions, and all things related to Livepeer. We'll start with introductions, and then we'll hop right into it. Quick word of announcements, been trying to get a couple more people to do Q&A sessions, so hopefully next week we'll have a guest, and then maybe even the following week, so look forward to that. Okay, let's go ahead and start. I'm Titan, been running the Titan node orchestrator since April 2021. And yeah, today my topic is about the 3 LPT staked orchestrator that made it onto the top 100 list, as well as work going to inactive orchestrators. So orchestrators outside of the 100 list also getting work. So this is 2 things I've observed in the last 24 hours. So yeah, those are my topics. We'll move on to Ben. Would you like to introduce yourself and a topic?
Hey everyone, I'm Ben, running the Authority Null node for over a year now. Only topics I have is just, I guess, to celebrate the fact that Orb now supports video publishing, which seems really, really cool. And then the massive unbond that we saw last week did in fact look like it got bridged to L1, so maybe that's something to touch on.
Oh, very interesting. Yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely touch on those topics. I appreciate you being here, as always, Ben. Papa Bear, would you like to introduce yourself and a topic?
Sure, I am Papa Bear, been running the solar farm orchestrator since July of 2021. I believe it's 2021. Yeah, it wasn't last year, so. Um, let's see. Well, I also wanted to say that I saw the Orb announcement and posted up a video really quickly right before this, and it worked smoothly and quality looks excellent. And I don't really have a lot to say about it, but I think I'm curious to hear everyone else's thoughts on it, and or if anyone else has tried it. And I'm also very curious to hear about your topic about not only how did the person with 3 LPT get into the active set, but how you realized that well, maybe as I'm saying it, how did you realize that inactive orchestrators are receiving work? Was it Livepeer Academy, or did you hear from someone else?
2 people I heard from. Mamood,
Oh,
who's
okay.
a new orchestrator. I know him personally. I met him. He was getting work before he even was on the top 100 list. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I just bonded like 400 LPT and I'm getting work." And I said, "Well, how? You're not even your node literally says inactive on the Explorer." And he showed me his logs, and I was like, "Oh, look at that, he's getting work."
Hmm. Hmm.
And then,
Yeah, well, we can get into it. I don't want to like get sidetracked from the introductions, but I'm very curious.
very good.
Sorry
Okay,
about that.
yeah, no worries. No, we'll jump into that stuff as well. So, but yeah, very good. As always, thank you for joining us, Papa Bear. Upon, would you like to introduce yourself and a topic?
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, nice one. Right, I'm Pon. I've been running my own orchestrator Pon node for about 10 months now. It's going to be April, even though I'm going to hit 1 year old. Little topic today, I just want to introduce my little script that I wrote for automatic LPT bond transfer. So I'm just trying to help everyone out. And I had a lot of guidance from Arco, how to write it, and a lot of teaching from him.
Very good. Yeah, that was a very cool script that you shared, and I can't wait to try it out. So, yeah, we'll jump into that as well. I do appreciate the contribution. And as always, welcome back, Pawn. Great to see you. John, would you like to introduce yourself and a topic?
Hey everyone, my name's John. I've been running the Elite Encoder Orchestrator since October 2021. My topic today would be about, I'm curious if anyone's seen any issues with transcoders kind of choking on VOD jobs. I had an error that showed up with like remote transcoder took too long, even though it's a local transcoder. I've seen like a lot higher transcode times on some video on-demand formats, and just curious if anyone's had any experience or issues around that we could look at from a development perspective. And that's about it for today.
Very good. I like it. Thank you so much for joining us, Elite. Flo, would you like to introduce yourself and a topic?
Oh, hello everyone. I'm Flo from Moss Computing. I don't have any topic for today, but there is good things to hear as I see.
Very cool. Thank you so much for joining us. Frank, would you like to introduce yourself and a topic?
Sure. Hi everyone. I'm Frank. I'm running Ultima Show Orchestrator since May 21, and I have no particular topic tonight. Thanks.
Very good. Thank you so much for joining us, as always, Frank. Speedybird, would you like to introduce yourself and a topic?
Hey, Speedybird, about 15 weeks in now, running Orchestrator. I just don't really have any detailed topic. Happy to discuss it if there's interest, but just a PSA that on Wednesday, Mike, Zodap, and I are going to do office hours, talk about Loki. Published some materials late last week regarding how to set up Loki and alerting on your orchestrator, including receiving Telegram alerts for specific conditions.
Very cool. I like it. When are you planning your office hours?
Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern, United States Eastern Time.
Very good. I like it. Thank you so much for joining us, as always, Speedybird. Okay, do we have any more people in the audience that want to come up and do introductions? If you are new or just a guest, please just raise your hand and I'll invite you up to stage where we can talk. Just even if you just want to introduce yourself and hang out on stage, that's totally cool. No pressure. So just come on up and yeah, we'll continue with introductions. Vires, I see you've joined us. Would you like to introduce yourself and a topic? Vires, are you with us?
Yeah, sorry. Sure. So I'm running the Vires and Numeris.eth orchestrator since almost 4 years now. No specific topic from my side.
Very cool. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay. Oh, and I want to, just before we wrap up with the introductions, I want to add one more item into, I actually have two more topics to go through. One is using ChatGPT or some sort of AI to transcribe all the water cooler chats and then create summaries of them. So I'm looking for software that can do that, if anyone knows. And the last topic is around Lens versus Nostr. I've been trying out both decentralized social platforms. Just wondering if anyone else has an experience with them. Would like to get some feedback and just have a chat about those two platforms. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and get started with a couple topics that were brought up, and I think they're really, really cool. Ben, you talked a little bit about Orb and their publishing. Can you start us off with that? What have you seen?
Yeah, not a huge topic. It was just kind of a nice surprise to see a little tease from the Livepeer team on Twitter yesterday talking about something was coming to Orb, and then today seeing that they enabled mobile video publishing, which I think is a really nice way to increase demand on the network since the app is pretty easy to use. It's probably one of the most streamlined and like finished apps on the whole Web3 ecosystem that I've seen. So just some positive news, really. I'm not sure if anyone's tried it yet or uploaded some videos, but it looks like it works really, really well. The quality is excellent.
Yeah, and just one thing to add to that, if you already have Orb installed, and make sure you update it or you do not have that feature, because I did it and I was like, wait, this is just like a picture here. So quick update fixed that, but it worked exactly as advertised, and the quality was great. So if anyone wants to check out my video, check it out, Papa Bear.
Yeah, that's great news. I've been using Orb a lot lately, and yeah, it's really powerful how they built the platform. Like I'm already at over 1,000 followers, using the Waves platform to boost my posts. Highly recommend doing it if you're interested. But yeah, like it's I'm pretty excited. Have you posted anything on there, Ben, yet? Like, have you actually posted a video?
I haven't posted a video. I saw Doug posted a video and Papa Bear did, but I have not tested it yet.
You can actually see, Ben, the video you posted to LensTube pops up for you now.
Oh, really?
I don't know if it always did, but yeah.
Oh, right. I have 2 accounts. Yeah, I would have to look at the other one. But yeah, that's super cool.
Very cool. Yeah, so it pops up on well, talking about video, LensTube. I DM'd them, or actually I publicly asked them, hey, can you increase the upload size? And it sounds like they did. I haven't uploaded a video, but yeah, to upload a video to LensTube was a bit of a rigmarole because it needs to be less than a gigabyte, but all my water cooler chats are about a gig and a quarter. So they're just over a gig. And my computer that I'm on right now, like, can't really handle video processing at all. Like, to downsize it, I was like struggling. And then every other platform to decrease the size, like a cloud platform version, they're all limiting at a gig too. If you want to upload anything bigger than a gig, it's $8.99 a month, or like some of these subscription services. And I thought, man, we really just need to build a lens or a Livepeer tool that just downsizes video at like 10 gigabyte sizes with a Connect wallet feature. So you could just pay like 30 cents and you can just make a transaction and downsize like a 10 gig video. Would be kind of a cool app. But yeah, now they've updated it, so I should just be able to upload it directly to LensTube, which would be really nice. So yeah, a lot of
And then Lens Play,
semi-related.
Is that LensTube for mobile essentially, or is that a whole nother app that's coming out?
No, it's lenstube.xyz.
But isn't there another lens-based social application coming out at some point called Lens Play?
Probably.
I was going to say
I
probably.
saw you
There's
were on
so
the
many, it's
wait
hard to
list
keep
for
up with.
that.
Oh, I'm on that. Yeah, I'm on that wait. I'm on every wait list for like these social apps. Like I'm on Nostr wait lists. I'm on Lens wait lists. I'm trying out everything as quickly as possible. Like even the Wave 3 publishing thing where you can pay for people to mirror your content. I threw 200 Matic at it like on day one. Like most people just start with like a 10 Matic, like $15. I threw like $250 at it. Like, hey, let's just try this out. And yeah, it works great. So yeah, I'm just trying things as quickly as possible. So I have a hard time tracking even what I've signed up for.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it's really cool just to see all these apps coming out of nowhere.
Speaking of Web3 apps, I thought it was cool that Xenon posted in Discord that they had a VOD video, an hour-long VOD file, transcode in 10 minutes. That was pretty cool.
Oh, very cool.
Just just the power of the swarm of machines.
Yeah, they apparently have designed their own workflow for that. It's really cool.
So they're doing
Figures
VOD
the
with
one day that we don't have Transmental in here to ask him about it.
It's called something like parallelization.
Oh, I see Tony's sitting in the audience. Maybe he has some info. But I was just curious to know how they did it, how they got it to do it in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I suppose they're running that through the VOD Livepeer service, or is there some way to do that with the open source software?
I mean, they're not
I'm pretty
using some of what they're using. I mean, I probably shouldn't speak for them, but I believe some of what they're using is Livepeer stuff, but they've customized the hell out of it
Nice.
to get it to work for them. Yeah. Again,
I'm
I could
really
be completely
interested
wrong.
to see a full implementation of VOD, like outside of Livepeer Studio, what that would look like.
I know they don't use Livepeer Studio at all.
Yeah, it'd definitely be interesting to talk to them and see how they're doing that.
Yeah.
It could feed into our design on the pricing. I just haven't heard a lot from Livepeer, them, Inc. about the way they're VOD broadcasting. We heard about the keyframes last week, but I haven't heard a lot of specific details on how we might be able to see what's a VOD job versus live.
Yeah, it would.
Very cool. So updates to Orb. We got other video applications being built on Lens. Very, very exciting. Going down that road, before I switch topics, actually, because we're talking about a little bit about Lens, I'd like to talk a little bit about Nostr. Has anyone signed up for Nostr or tried out any of their apps?
Yeah, actually,
Just
me and
last
Papa
night.
Bear we're just testing it out. There was actually a guy who came in here a while ago. I forgot his name, but he was hyping up this thing that or somebody who worked on Bitcoin, one of the first developers, I believe it's Sirius, Marty something, was developing an application, and this was a while ago, and it's called iris.to. And originally they didn't use Nostr, and now they do. And yeah, that's one application that uses it that I've been testing. Nostr seems really interesting and really cool from what I've seen.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
I will say that that Iris app is not very polished, and it is not
Yeah, I
very.
mean,
It is not
there's a
easy to use. I mean,
lot of testing going on, but
you
I
can't search
really
for
like.
someone's username.
I
You have to know
love the
their
login
public
system
key.
though. Yeah,
yeah, that's been an interesting thing. Like, I downloaded the mobile version, Damus,
yeah.
and as soon as you get onto it, like the first thing you see is just like tons of spam. It was just like just constant spam, and I'm like, oh, I haven't even followed anyone yet, but why is there so much spam on my like global search function? I was like, okay, and then yeah, I just tried to search like some people that I follow on Twitter, and like you can't, you have to know their public key, and I thought, okay, so then I have to
I
go
mean, like, how are you gonna know someone's public key? I mean, without doing a lot of work. I mean,
yeah, like
that
there's
needs that
yeah.
needs to be simple. That needs to be like friendlified or something. Or I think that's a major roadblock to adoption.
I mean, I think it's in a really experimental stage right now, but it's pretty cool still.
Yeah, like I I think Nostr is much more decentralized than Lens. I mean, Lens you need to get onto a wait list and have to get whitelisted. So like right there, like that's kind of a problem. Whereas Nostr, I think, is like really just a protocol and it's really decentralized. Like it's like there is no like yeah, it's proper decentralization and like permissionless and censorship free, I think, of like social, but it seems really hard to build on top of because I haven't found an app yet that is like super easy to get started or nice to get going. Like, so even just to follow Papa Bear, I can't search Papa Bear. Like I don't think he would show up. You know?
Yeah,
Do you,
no, because I tried to follow Ben the other night, and I was like, he had to send me his public key. I was like, wait a minute, you got to be kidding me.
do you know how the
Um,
relay system works? I'm still trying to wrap my head around it.
Yeah. So there's clients and relays. Clients are what you use, say, on your phone, and that reads off of relays. And then people that host relays do it out of the goodness of their heart. Um, and but they can also load up their relay with spam. So yeah, the idea is the relays talk to other relays and they can share the list of information. So they can store, the relays are the ones that store the data about all your information, like your pub key. And then depending on what relays those relays want to point to or the amount that you want to connect to, that's the information you will see. So it's kind of weird. Like if there's a relay on like arbitrarily, like not actually, but if imagine there's a relay on the other side of the world, and and you're on this side of the world, and you're not actually directly connected to that relay. If the other relays don't also want to read to that relay, you won't actually be able to communicate with them unless you hit enough relays to get there. And therefore, the amount of followers someone has on Nostr is dependent on how many relays you are reading to depend on how many people are actually following them. So everyone has a different view of how many followers someone has. It's really confusing too, which isn't a bad thing, but yeah, like if you look at Jack Dorsey, like some people see as 25,000, some people he has like 16,000, some people he has like 100. Like it all depends on which relays you connect to. So yeah, it's totally different. There's no blockchain. There's no nothing like that. Yeah, that's as far as I know about it. I don't know. I could be wrong on some things.
Yeah, really interesting stuff.
Yeah. My only concern is how are they going to manage like video and stuff. It seems like it's only text based right now. Like I think there's images, but I'm not sure how that's handled. So
Yeah, I'm not sure how it's handled. I mean, there's definitely images. Like if you're using Iris to access it, you can see images. But when I'm just
Yeah.
on just
The way iris.to,
Nostr.ch, it looks like old school, just text just flying by. Like good luck trying to tell what the hell's going on.
yeah, iris.to does video with torrents, and it is rough. It's all like seeding and peer-to-peer stuff. Although I think they might have removed that when Nostr came in.
yeah, so it'll be very interesting because I think that with Nostr, you're getting this like super decentralized protocol, but it becomes like a worse version of Twitter. Like it literally is like just like it's more clunky, it's harder to use, and I think trying to get mass adoption on things like that based on the merit of it's decentralized, I don't think is enough to get people over. Like if people really cared about decentralization or censorship free, like why would they keep using Twitter? But they do because it's easy to use. And whereas the one thing I think Lens has going forward is there's this Turing complete language that's built on top of this blockchain that Lens uses, and so people are already building like really interesting tools on top, like the waves thing. Like you can get paid for mirroring, or like, and it wouldn't be hard to use. Like as long as because it already uses Solidity. As long as you know how to program Solidity, you can program anything on top of Lens. So all of a sudden you have this like thing where you can use NFTs and you can use like proof of this and that all on chain, which I think is like really powerful because it gives you tools that you don't even get on Twitter, which I think is like more feature rich. So I don't know, but it's like more centralized. So I don't know, but I just wanted to go down that road because yeah, I've been testing the two, and I'm just wondering. Like obviously, people like Lens and Livepeer seem to be a nice fit, but I'm wondering if like Nostr and Livepeer would even be a fit. Like I feel like everyone on Nostr hates everything but Bitcoin. So
Yeah, a lot of maxis on there.
yeah, yeah. I think the hardest thing with these social platforms is getting a group of people that aren't crypto people to get on there and post stuff that's interesting outside of crypto. Because Lens is getting better at that. Like people are posting art on Lens, but like I don't think I found a single non-Bitcoin maxi on Nostr yet.
Sounds about right.
And Chinese porn ads. That's literally all I saw on Nostr. Chinese porn ads and Bitcoin maxis.
Oh, they're giving a lot away, a lot of free USDT I see right now. So jump on there, grab it.
So yeah,
Revolutionary.
I'm very curious as to how it'll go, but Lens seems to be easier to use, and there's already a lot of cool tools, and they're doing NFTs, and I don't know. So I'm definitely doubled down on that, but I do want to check out Nostr, so gonna be doing that. Okay, that's enough about social media, decentralized social media. Let's move on to some more Livepeer specific things. Ben, you talked about the massive unbond. Tell us what you saw and what you're seeing so far.
All we know right now is that it's being bridged, or at least that's what it looks like. So I think Wednesday, we'll maybe see some movement there. You know, I don't know what someone with that amount of LPT can actually do with it. Like you said, they can't just dump it on the market. but just keeping an eye on it because that is a significant amount. And if that is sold somehow, that's gonna probably be a pretty hefty price drop.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, isn't the bridge time 8 days, not 7 days?
You're probably right.
There you go. We have a whale moving around, and we're all very anxious to see what they do.
Yes, very anxious.
So they spent 7 days on bonding, and now they're spending roughly 8 days bridging to layer 1. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's actually
That's what it
it's
looks
actually
like.
2 whales. One of like close to 1.2 million, and another one of like I think it was like 500,000 LPT. Both unbonded at the same time, both bridged at the same time. So very likely that they are the same entity.
I wonder if it's like Kraken or something, where they're like, "Uh-oh, all this regulation came
Possibly,
in, and
possibly.
we have to be able to liquidate everyone's stake that they want to stake with us." I don't know.
Who knows?
That would suck if they just liquidated it all in one shot. Oof.
But I have a feeling like just because, yeah, like if it's, I think so what's the new regulation in the US? It's illegal to stake through third parties or something, or they just came down on Kraken or something.
Came down on Kraken
There
and
is no
then
law. It's just a settlement with Kraken alone. There's no law that came out of it, but they basically said they can't offer a product that is essentially security because of the way that they're doing it and lack of disclosures and whatnot. And their program is structured in a way where they're like not really giving you any sense what they're doing with the collateral. Coinbase is claiming that they have a completely different product. They're not giving out yield based on an investment product. They're basically just holding your coins for you and putting it directly in there and providing people that awareness. So I don't know exactly the specifics of how they claim that it's entirely different, but that's their position. They said they're going to fight if SEC comes around looking for them.
Interesting argument. It's like say, no, officer, I wasn't speeding. I was just testing out the engine, making sure it can work. It's like, yeah. I mean, I guess yeah. One is they're claiming they're a custodial service, and so therefore they're not. It's not an investment return that they're supposedly getting. It's just the accruing and natural process of the holdings that happen on chain. So therefore, we're just holding. Well, there you go. So there, that covers the unbonding and all these kind of things. Let's go on to even more specific Livepeer topics. Elite, you talked about transcoders choking on VOD jobs. Tell us what you're seeing and what you've noticed.
Yeah. So I think, we've all seen like a lot of spikes and stuff since the VOD started. And then what I've started seeing over the past week is some of these transcode times actually exceed a whole second. I think I had one hit that was like 10 seconds before it went. I guess that was just a timeout. But there's been a lot of that, and then so I've been working on a fix for like an issue where if you pull one transcoder out, it drops the other one. So we actually had an issue yesterday where like one of the transcoders seemed to just it got disconnected because it took too long for it to respond, I guess. I guess we were probably like pushing 17, 20 streams when this happened. It was two 1080s. But when that one transcoder hit, remote transcoder took too long. It dropped, and then the other one stopped getting work. So I think we fixed that particular issue. But my question for the community was, like, has anyone else seen a lot of high transcode times? Is there anything like any ideas anyone has for how to better handle that capacity limit?
When you say high transcode times, can you clarify what you mean by that again?
Yeah, like at least on my chart. So we've got price set to 900 pixel per way. So you get all the VOD. Just at a baseline, like I see a lot of maybe like 1080 streams drop in, and they they're all at like 400 milliseconds or so, which is pretty well above our average, right? And then we've seen a lot of that, but we've had some instances where more come in, maybe a few at a time or a heavier format, and it will spike up to 1.5 seconds maybe on that transcode for the VOD. I
Do you
assume it's a
know?
VOD job.
Have you also checked to see how what the duration of the segment is? Is it like, I mean, because like for live, most of the stuff is 2 seconds, but I know for VOD it can be longer.
Yeah,
Like they can, so obviously that would play a role in why it might take longer. But if it's timing out, it's still obviously an issue.
What's your GPU usage look like as well during this? Like, does it spike and then you see it at 100% and that's why you get above a second, or is it something else? And where is it? Is it on encoding or decoding? We've noticed decoding takes a lot of power, trying to do that part. So maybe you're just choking out on the decoding side.
I think that might be it. I've been meaning to get that script set up for monitoring the decode because I've got a basic memory utilization. This seems
you don't need a script. There's a container and an NVIDIA DCGM exporter that just ships from NVIDIA that allows you to get all that metric data you want.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah,
Love
and
if you have a link to that.
There is a link to the container, and Vires also posted if you don't want to run in Docker, there's a link to that as well. I can find that for you.
Okay. Yeah, because we're not in Docker at the moment.
Cool.
That would be good.
Yeah, and I just in response to that, I have seen similar things on my side. I'm looking at a stream right now that came in earlier last week. That was the transcode times were 2 seconds, and that was a pretty hefty stream as well. I think we're just getting a lot more heftier formats, and it might be time to start looking at ways to improve our setups with the kind of GPUs that we're running for VOD specifically.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It's an interesting point because sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, John. Go ahead.
No, that's fine.
Because I did notice, a lot based on Ben, when you posted that you were hitting 100% on your decode in I forgot what one of the regions. I opened, I pointed through through my Amazon because I have a lot more transcoding power in LA, and especially since LA has been down. I pointed my LA nodes over to also pick up work from Chicago and New York over the weekend, and they were getting more stream. They were handling more streams than my East Coast nodes were. But even though they were coming from the East Coast, both from from Chicago and from New York. But I also have a different mix of transcoder, of video cards over here because I've got 30 series, 20 series cards, and I don't know if they're just better suited maybe for some of those. The decoding is maybe better suited for. I think they have newer generation decoders, but I'm kind of going off memory on that. So I don't know if I don't think there's anything that's preferring those, but I also just had a lot. I had like 5 GPUs running there versus the single one that I have running for the 2 regions on the East Coast. So maybe I just wasn't running into issues because it was being spread out among more machines. But like even right now, I have it set up that way, and I've got more traffic going to my Los Angeles node than my East Coast node, even though it's further away. And it's all coming from, right now, it looks like it's all coming from, Chicago. Nothing coming from LA. It's all Chicago work coming into my LA node.
I would bet there's a lot of VOD in this region, and that's partly why we probably are affected by it a little bit more, is because there's just one node. So I'm definitely looking to build out some more scale.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be a lot of multi-resolution stuff, and I can't really tell what the Although you know what, it's super light on the on the GPU, at least on this one machine. Let me look at one of the other ones real quick.
What you could do as a test, John, is to set your price per pixel back to 1100 and benchmark your GPU to see if it truly is VOD jobs, right?
Yeah, that's what I figured. I may give that a try. That's one thing I was thinking of trying. Has anyone tried to change their price per pixel while they're running and had no issues with?
I've done
Yeah.
that in the past. I mean, a long time ago, I used to do that when.
Yeah. I figured
I
it
did
would
it.
work. Okay. Yeah, I'll give it a try
But
then.
I'm not.
and
Yeah,
see if
I'm seeing actually extremely low GPU usage. I mean, these transcoders are all on Windows, so I'm just opening the Task Manager and just looking at what the decode, like how much of the decode is, but they're all just barely working right now. I mean, it could just be what's coming in. I don't know. It's funny. I was just telling you that I had more in LA. It also, while I was talking, it just switched over. Now New York's got 5 times the amount of streams as LA does. So, it's
So
kind of a weird thing.
I have a question. I don't know if it's like if I'm following. It's my first call here, but like in case of VOD, why do we care about how long it takes to transcode a segment?
That was my original thought too, but apparently there's a lot of demand from the people that are posting VOD to get it back really quickly because you have people that are like making live streams that maybe are also wanting a VOD version and they want to be able to post it right away after the video's over. So like if they do an hour-long broadcast, they don't want to have to wait an hour or two before they can post the video up for
I think
people to
it's
watch
more
it.
specific though. Like in John's case, it's taxing his hardware. So
Oh,
if
different
a
issue,
demand,
different issue, but yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say if a video on demand job is taxing his hardware in a way that it doesn't allow it to do the normal stream processing, that's a bad thing because the live stream should be real time, right? Whereas the VOD stuff should be lower priority. And the fact that it's not, that it's actually causing the hardware to spike, that's a bad sign, right? Like you don't want that happening. You really want to be able to say, and again, in terms of priority, VOD is offline, right? Like no one's there waiting, but a real-time
No, but that's
stream
the
is
thing is
supposed to be live.
different types of
Yeah, I
waiting,
get that. That just
but there are
seems
people waiting.
crazy.
I will also say, I get the impression that a lot of the VOD stuff is coming from phones that may be recording in 4K or a lot of 1080p stuff. So they may just be using a lot more. They may just be more demanding on the decode side. And there are also a lot of times higher bit rate, on like iPhones and stuff like that. I don't know what the default is, but a lot of times it's higher than what people are setting, like their OBS settings to.
4K, 1080p, those higher streams, especially if they're 6 to 10 second segments, that's going to be higher bandwidth and also more memory usage, the
60
decoding,
frames,
you know what I mean?
60 frames per second. Yeah. A
That
lot of
just
the,
compounds the problem.
a lot of phones are putting out some pretty high bitrate stuff now by default. So I think that could be part of it. That a lot of this stuff is coming from phones as opposed to OBS stuff. People are like going in and actually setting it.
Does the client specify the transcoding configuration, or like for example things like the segment size or the tweaking of the encoder, like this configuration, who specifies those? Is it like
that's
us
all
or...
depends, right? It's going to be Livepeer, the broadcaster sending it, and also and in this case, I think where we're getting your work is coming from Livepeer Studio. So Livepeer Studio is controlling that part of it. If that's again a private company.
But like, I mean, when you're in OBS and you're sending it through like Livepeer Studio, you can set the your keyframe interval to, they recommend 2 seconds, but you can also make it 8 seconds. So that will play a role, and then also you can adjust what bit rate are you sending it at.
Because I think depending on the encoder configuration, like the encoding can be very, very complex or much easier. And I don't know, for us, I don't know if we would be able to, like, I mean, we probably, if someone digs into it, you can figure out if there's a problem with the encoding configuration. Like you can configure an encoder to be very aggressive.
Yeah, that's
compress
kind
a
of
lot
baked
and take a lot
into
of
the
time.
Livepeer. I think that's baked into the Livepeer Go code right now, where or some of it is actually written in C. But there's definitely some profiles and configs for that are baked into the software. So to your point is, if you're looking for something there, it's going to be in Livepeer's open source project.
Yeah, I think that the issue mostly is coming from the decode side, though, right now. Which, again, if stuff's coming from phone, I don't know how people are, or if people are even adjusting that, or if it's or aware of it. I think that on the encoding side, that's that kind of stuff. Well, actually, I'll tell you one thing I did hear. I think it was Tom that was talking about this, or some maybe it was even Yondon, that a lot of times the profile that's used for VOD will transcode the full resolution that came in, as well as then make a lower resolution. Whereas with the live stuff, it doesn't usually transcode the like if it's a
Source
1080p, it
format.
doesn't. It usually will just do like 720 or whatever they specified below that. So you are getting hit with more encode on the VOD stuff. At least at its default-ish settings. I don't know if they're really technically as a default, but because again, it depends where it's coming from. But yes, the VOD stuff tends to be heavier demand on
I
the.
think that makes sense because when you do VOD, you're basically taking away the time critical element. You're not expected to transcode within a particular period of time. You can take your time. That's why I was a bit surprised when we were mentioning the time aspect when it comes to VOD.
I think if you listen to the core team talk about VOD, I think they indicated that the current iteration is still pretty elementary or rudimentary in its pipeline processing. I think they're using the same channel that they're using for the live streams. They're just it's all going through the same thing. So I think there's some improvements they plan on making in that regard. I think they were more trying to get the feature and function out more than, really optimizing for particular use cases.
For us menial transcoders, we got to figure out the problem. No.
Well, it just may mean that the benchmark test that we run to decide how many streams we can handle may not be as I don't know if accurate or valid as it used to be, because now it's different workloads than, that was all based off live stuff. And even that was still just an approximation. So it just may be that we can't do as many VOD formats, at least at the current way that they're being sent. I see, Tony, you're back here. Tony, is there anything you can comment on how you guys are doing VOD stuff? I'm sorry, not Tony, Troy. My bad. Sorry.
Sorry, what was that?
We're talking about VOD, and I know you guys have just implemented that. I was just wondering, because I saw you. I don't know if it was you or someone from Xenon posted that you guys got back a 1 hour VOD file in 10 minutes it took to transcode. I was just wondering if you had any insight or anything you could share with us.
Well, what we did was we actually implemented our own parallel scripting. So it's not going through. We don't use Livepeer Studio, right? So we're able to do things that are more inclined for what the company needs, on a faster clip for that. Essentially, what we did was we split it up, right, and then it just reconfigures in our backend, all the transcoding that's going through. So it's not using the multipass setup yet, though, because that's something we're gonna need. We're gonna need Livepeer to get that implemented into the actual protocol. But on our end, we just kind of did our own thing and we split it up and then have it transcoding through all the things. Right now, I just uploaded a video that's 1.5 hours long, and it's still transcoding, but it's been 2 minutes. So I'm hoping to see it.
What resolution and bit rate are you sending that at? or is it the same for everything, or does it depend on how it was or who made the clip?
That's going to kind of, well, the resolution is going to really kind of come from the uploader. But like this, what I'm uploading right now is like 1080p. I don't know what the bitrate's set up.
What do you get back from that? Do you get a 1080p back from it also, and then
yeah,
and then a bunch of...
Yeah, exactly. So it gets stored as I believe it's a 1080p MP4. So like we're uploading a 1080p MP4, it's split up, and then it's sent out in segments to all the transcoding nodes that are attached to the application, and then we get back those jobs, and then we reprocess it back into a single MP4. Seems like a weird roundabout, but that's kind of what you need to do to get the transcode.
No, it doesn't. No, it totally makes sense to me. I'd be really curious to know what bit rates like is most of this stuff. Well, I guess VOD is pretty new for you guys, but like, are actually just what's the source for it? Is it coming from people on their computers that are like uploading like game kind of footage, or what?
Yeah, so I mean, from the streaming side, it's a little different, right? Because it's dependent upon how they have their OBS set up.
Right.
On the when it comes to the phone broadcasters, the bit rate is, I forget what the default is, but it's the default on the iPhone. And then on Android, we actually had to, or no, you know what? I take it back. Originally, it was the default on iPhone, and then we turned it down because we were getting a lot of errors. And then on the Android, we had to turn it down also. But that was a pain in the butt because Android is actually really hard to turn down.
Right. Okay, because that's what I was kind of hitting at before, was that I don't think these phones can send out some really heavy files.
Yeah.
Or like they record in heavy files, at least by default. So, and I'm going to guess the average person isn't going in there and changing anything, or like so. I think that's.
I don't know if you actually can, like as a user, right? Like those things are kind of like deep inside of the operating system of like what the phones are doing. But like as a developer, you can do it, right? Like the application can choose. It's really easy with the iPhone from our experience, but with Android, we had to do a bunch of like workarounds to like get it to really work. That's why the Android app actually came out later, is because we had to do it. There was a bunch of like.
Right, but I guess there's things like I have an Android, so I'm looking at it like if I've got HDRs like on by default and like all these kind of things, which I'm assuming are just going to make the file much bigger than let's see, what about video options here? Turn off that potential spam call. Oh, and then I have an option to reduce file size. That's not turned on, and it's doing HDR 10 plus, So like I can see those being really big files that again, those are all by default on. So, and again, that's specific to my phone, the Android phone world, because everything's different. But I should probably record something for like a minute and just kind of get an idea of how big a file it makes. Or I guess I can actually look and see what the bit rate is, because I'm curious to know even what Apple's default bit rate is, because I mean they're high quality videos, so I'm assuming that they're pretty beefy. Take a quick look.
Yeah, and then you get into the issues of like when people are streaming, and like let's say you don't have like an amazing internet connection, getting that into the network really degrades the quality for the viewer. Right, so like we're pulling that in and then like transcoding it, and then it's being presented, but like on the viewer side, if we don't turn that bit rate down, I mean it's just like the streamer doesn't really know it, right? Like they don't know that they're like like not able to get this into the system. But so yeah, we did a bunch of testing around it. Like I live in Puerto Rico where internet is awful, and even our cell network is not really all that great. At least on Verizon. I'm on Verizon, and the only carrier down here that has 5G is T-Mobile, and but I come to the States a lot, so I keep Verizon. The thing is like we had to like really like mess with it on different networks just to see where where the sweet spot was. But yeah, we had to turn it down. Sure.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Just trying to do it.
I mean, I realize that we don't have a lot of time left, Titan, so I don't know, but I have actually a few follow-up questions just to understand the flow.
We got over an hour left, buddy. You go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, so just if you, Troy, if you can help me like a bit understand the flow. So what happens is, let's say the recording device, let's say you take a video or you upload it from your local file system, and then what happens is the device itself encodes the video and sends it over, or do they upload the packaged file to the Livepeer Studio?
We don't use Livepeer Studio. We have our own backend and system that does all this for us.
Okay.
And the reason why we have that is because we want to be able to do certain things with the protocol and offer a product that isn't then we're not dependent upon like Livepeer Studio to like add features and everything, so we can just move quickly.
Makes
so
sense,
like
yeah.
what we do is we upload, we have a server, they upload the videos into the server, and then once they get into the server, it's like hit publish, then it splits it up and then sends it into the Livepeer transcoding network.
So when you say split it up, are you so splitting up could either mean segmenting, as in what you would do with things like Dash, or splitting up could be like demultiplexing the video file?
It's multiplexing. I don't think we're doing that.
So you basically just chunk up the file, like just take the encoded file and then split it up? Or do you feed it into like an encoder pipeline in your servers first before feeding it to the Livepeer network?
No, that I'm not totally sure about. Like, I haven't had a chance to really dig deep into the like what the actual mechanism is of it, because I was watching the Super Bowl yesterday, and the guy who was working on it, he like sent it to me, sent it to us, and he was like, "Yeah, we can do it. We can do it now." So I actually have a call with all of them in like 3 minutes, and we're gonna go over some of that. So I don't have like a direct answer about that right now.
That's okay. I mean, I was just trying to figure out, because it could be that if depending on how the network operates, if it's sort of doing a demultiplexing stage and then multiplexing, that itself could really tax on the performance.
Wait, sorry, what was that? Someone came in my room.
That's okay. I was just trying to understand how how it works. It's fine. Just let us know when you know. It's fine.
Yeah, I will. We're gonna have that call soon.
Just as a quick search, and I don't know how much I would trust this. This is also from 2019, but just for like iPhone, just to give you guys an idea, like if someone's doing like a 1080 30 frames, that's coming in at about 10 megabits, and if it's 60 frames, it's 15. You jump up to 4K, and it can get up to 63 megabits per second. So if people are sending 4K stuff up, that's gonna definitely hit your machines a lot harder than we've been getting hit in the past.
I mean, the bitrate depends also on the encoding. So I guess because Livepeer exclusively uses H.264, it's going to be 15 megs. But if we're talking about like H.265, could I think go like down to 8 or 9.
Oh yeah, for sure. But right now that we can't. Livepeer doesn't support H.265 in, as far as I know.
I see. Okay.
So I just want to go back to some introductions, because some people have joined us. So we'll do introductions, but we'll keep on going. Mike, do you want to introduce yourself in a topic you'd like to cover?
Hey guys, I'm Mike. I run the Zode Orchestrator since January of 22, so I've had my year anniversary. No topics. I just wanted to remind folks that this Wednesday, Speedy, when is the
Speedy already
orchestrator?
Speedy announced.
Oh, did he? All right, man.
Yeah.
Well, then he's already ahead of the game. He's always ahead of the game. So let's go.
Yeah, I think you guys ping me in a little post there. I can create the event on Discord for you if you'd like. I can do that.
Oh yeah, please. Thank you.
Very cool. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us, Mike. As always, Mamood, would you like to introduce yourself and a topic or question you might have?
Yeah, hey guys. I'm like I run like an orchestrator node called Cluster. I literally has been like 1 day old. My background is in media streaming. I worked for the past 5 years at Amazon Prime Video. I have a patent in video streaming, so I spent a lot of my time sort of playing around with video. Most of my experience actually is in Android TV. I sort of like know it on a very deep level. So also if you have like questions around Android and how it works from a video like decoding perspective, I also can definitely help there. And yeah, I don't have any particular questions. I think most of my questions are mundane. I can just ask them on the support channel. Things like what is that rate? What is that number? But I'm getting the hang of things, so I'm just excited to hear what everybody's talking about.
Oh, and I'm glad to have you. We could use that video expertise here. I think we all have different skills and unique talents and experience. So it sounds like you have a unique set that's going to go real nice with this group.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I just a quick add on to that. I met Mamood in ETH Global. We hacked together, and yeah, so with great convincing, I've got him to join our community. Although he was into it much before I knew about it, but he signed up for the startup grant and received it yesterday. So he's up and going with his node, and yeah, so great to have you, Mamood, as always.
Well, we've posted a lot of education over the last year surrounding Docker and managing multi-orgs at a scale. So if you're looking to ramp up, look for some of the stuff that Authority Null and I wrote. You'll definitely have a lot of value there.
Would love that actually. If you can just share the link with me, I definitely need to read a lot about it because sometimes I feel lost.
Yeah, no doubt. We'll send some links to the chat here so you can get started looking at some of the stuff we wrote.
Some of the docs are a bit out of date. The management system we use, the UI Portainer, has released so many updates, it's been hard to keep up. But if you have any questions after we link you the stuff, just ping us. Happy to guide you through whatever you need.
Thanks, man.
Very cool. Thank you so much for joining us, Mamood. Fktkunsman, would you guys like to introduce yourself and a topic?
Yeah, hi everyone. Joey here with the Fktkunsman node. Sorry, I got a frog today. Yeah, owner and operator, Fktkunsman node, been on the network for, gosh, got to be getting close to 2 years. I also run and manage the Livepeer community Arbitrum node. So, little plug there. We got plenty more capacity to serve. Only got about 25 users, so tell your friends.
Very good. I like it a lot. I'll actually have to switch some of my other programs to use your node maybe. I think I was using Alchemy for posting stuff, so I'll be using yours very shortly. Okay, great. And let's continue on with the topics as we go through them here. So we talked a little bit about the VOD jobs and the orb publishing video and things like this. Let's talk about Loki and Speedybird. Had a Speedybird, I guess, and Mike have something they're doing. Why don't you guys talk a little bit about what you're doing?
Sure. So, I mean, it's a quick plug, but as you heard moments ago, we're going to do a office hours on it this Wednesday. Just kind of walk through what the install looks like and field any questions you guys might have. But essentially, this is a log analytics stack You may be familiar with other logging systems if you've touched AWS or any other cloud services. It typically have some solution where they aggregate logs from all your different servers and put it in a place where you can query it. Loki is an open source project. It comes from the Grafana group. And that tool essentially will be able to work on your orchestrator logs, pull them into a central server that allows you to query them. And what we've done is we've put together a full Docker stack for both an install on the orchestrator side for an agent called Promtail that will scrape your logs and send it to the Loki server, and then for a separate Docker Compose setup that will spin up a full stack monitor that includes Grafana, Loki, Prometheus, Alert Manager, and some other things to allow you to have kind of a one-stop shop to go through and look at logs from all your running nodes. I mean, even if you have just one node, it's a nice thing to have. You can just pop into your web browser and log in and see it there, whether it's mobile or your desktop. No need to get to wherever the server is, whether it's a shell into the server or logging into a rig you might have in your basement somewhere. And the real benefit here is that with the metrics that come out of the orchestrator's nodes today, you have certainly some insights into what's going on, but there are certain things that you just can't find through those metrics, operational level things. One of the key examples I try to highlight in the materials that I published is a block watcher alert system that essentially will look at the log files that it's receiving from the orchestrator and identify when you're running into block watcher error. So if you have a block watcher error, it basically will put you in a spot where your node's out of sync with the current head of the chain on L2. And if you fall out of sync with that, obviously you're going to have some serious problems because you're not going to be able to operate because you're out of sync with where the rest of the community and the protocol is. And this package that's out there now has out of the box a full stack configured that you can install in one line on a machine with Docker on it, and it will automatically scan for those types of errors. And if it comes up, it will send you an alert through Telegram using that stack. And that's just one example. There's some other things in there too that are benefits of having Loki, because again, you can't get everything from the standard metrics that the orchestrator provides, and you need to look in the logs. And there's some it's well documented there on the forum post. You'll find a link through to the GitHub project with the code and very detailed explanations, not only of the alerts that are being provided with the package that were published, but also how you can configure it and expand on that rule set.
Very cool. That sounds amazing. I think that'd be very valuable for a lot of orchestrators. So yeah, I'll be very happy to create an event for you guys. Just send me details of what I should post in there for the excerpt and the title and time and date and everything else.
All right. Cool.
Okay, cool. Let's continue on with some other topics. I want to bring up this this thing about inactive orchestrators getting work. So Mamood actually brought this to my attention yesterday. He had 400 LPT staked, something like that, and he was getting work without being active and not on the orchestrator list. And that also happened with another guy in the support channel who had 7 LPT staked and was getting work. So Hunter right now is on the case. He's looking into why that's happening, but yeah, there seems to be some kind of messy configurations there. And I'm wondering if people...
Well, Papa and I were talking about it. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Titan.
No, go ahead, jump in.
No, I was just going to say, Pop and I kind of like on the side yesterday or whatever, we're kind of just, spitballing ideas around this. And it just sounds like, there may be some problem where you can get the work, but I don't think you're going to get paid. Like, you won't get tickets. Like, I think the the micro probabilistic payment on chain looks at the active orcs, right? Like, so I'd be curious to know if you actually received any payments, like any tickets were received for work done, because that would be, or even you know, maybe you could stay inactive. Well, you can't stay inactive. I guess you're active now, but be interested to see if an inactive one will win a ticket at some point. But I suspect you can't. But that's just a suspicion more than a fact.
Yeah. For me, I was inactive when it was running, which I guess makes it worse because now it's doing work without any returns.
Yeah, but it's worse for you, right? It's worse for you as the operator because you're not active. But I mean, again, I just, you know, anyone that's online that's active but not, or transcoding but not active shouldn't be getting any work. I would agree with that. But, you know, the protocol says, hey, we'll send it to you if you're up and you want work. We'll give it to you, but we can't pay you.
Yeah, as far as I can remember, if you're due to go active on the next round, you start getting work.
So I on here, he was getting tickets. Let's see. He was getting face value tickets with a win prob while not being active.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right.
Receiving ticket.
Did you check the CLI to make sure that maybe the Explorer just wasn't updating?
Well, the weird thing. Okay,
or
so
did he not even have enough LPT to be in the top 100?
he didn't have enough LPT. Well, what's really confusing is right now there's an orchestrator with 3 LPT in the top 100.
Yeah.
But how is that possible? Because I have an orchestrator with 200 LPT that should beat him. And it's actively calling reward. It's trying. I just get an error every round. It's like Livepeer Academy. It has stake. I keep bumping it in and out. Like when it hit 400 and it finally went out, I put like 10 onto it and I kicked someone out and they kicked me out and then I thought, you know what? I'll probably just take the stake away and not. Like, I'll let someone else have that role. Like, someone was clearly fighting for it. So it's sitting at like 200 LPT, but now there's someone with 3 LPT on the Explorer. And Mamood
that doesn't make sense.
Mamood had 400 LPT. He was inactive, not on the list, but now there's someone with 3 LPT on the list. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
No, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
And
something is broken.
3 LPT one was inactive like the day that they signed up, which is normal. And then when I checked this morning, they were I don't know if it was this morning or yesterday, whatever it was, but they are now actually active. So something definitely.
And they have 3 LPT, but there's no external delegator, because I thought the external delegators count, right, for active.
This is their total LPT. Total LPT.
Total, geez.
Yeah, so
man.
Like Livepeer Academy, if you search Livepeer Academy on the Explorer, it shows that it has stake and it's ready to go. Like it's been previously registered, so you can just search Livepeer Academy, and it has 204 total stake. But yet it's getting beat out by someone with 3 LPT. So I don't understand why Livepeer Academy is not active and this one is. If I was an orchestrator, I'd be really pissed off. I don't really care about this node particularly because I'm just assuming I'm just discontinuing it. But yeah, something's messed up. And then on top of that, someone else with 7 LPT was also getting work,
and they're not even showing up. And they're not even showing up anywhere. Like
they're nowhere to be found, and yet they said they were getting work. So here, Hunter's replied to me. See what he says. But yeah, anyway, there's something messy going on.
It'd be interesting to look at the Explorer code and see how it's selecting them to display there. But it sounds like the problem is bigger than that, and or deeper rather in the protocol.
It uses the subgraph.
The fact that that one with 2.97 LPT is showing as active is very bizarre to me.
Can you paste this ETH address in the chat? I want to see if Livepeer Tools has it.
Which Mamood's?
The 3 LPT one.
Oh, the 3.
So the active 3 LPT. I want to see if the subgraph shows that ETH address is active or not.
Here.
Yeah, put it.
There you got it.
See who wins.
I'll let you do it, Papa Bear. My computer can't handle.
There you go. I didn't write anything about it, but you'll that address there.
How long have they been active for?
I forgot if it was yesterday or today that they became active, but a day or two.
2 days.
2 days, okay. Yeah, I guess it does show that kind of stuff if you look on the if you look, huh? And not calling reward apparently.
Being that it's
The
been
only true
somewhat recent-
test though is the CLI, right? If you go to the CLI and you list active
I
orchestrators, that
did.
one's real.
I did.
The
That's
other
right.
ones are like views off of Arbitrum, subgraph, like that could be delayed
No,
or out of
I
sync.
looked at it on the CLI.
Yeah, that CLI, if it shows it, that's fact right there.
Yeah, it went from inactive to active. So I don't remember exactly.
That's
I guess
crazy.
it was 2 days ago, but yeah, sometime over the weekend.
Yeah, I'm just texting Hunter. I wish he would just come into this chat, but yeah, yeah, it's the people that are not registered are getting work, but there was a point in which inactive orchestrators were supposed to get work because during the switchover from mainnet to Arbitrum, they changed it so that on round 1 of us migrating, we could still do work on the network. So
Right, exactly.
So is that not? It clearly hasn't turned off yet because people. I bet you, if this is your first round you've registered on the network, you probably get work. Like I'm
whether you're right. If
I bet you something
that
like
actually makes sense.
if this round is the first round you've registered, you're eligible for work. Otherwise, like I think that's what. And then with Mamood, it just so happened that on the second round is when he got the grant, so he's got bumped into the top 100. So he's been getting work because Hunter says he's been registered for 2 days, but he hasn't, or so he's been active for 2 days, but he can't have been because it was only 12 hours ago he got the stake. So
something's messed up.
Interesting.
Something's not right. Yeah.
By the way, for me also, because this actually happened with me. There on the list there was an orchestrator that had 1 LPT.
Yeah, I remember when there was one like that.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's also related or not, but like as far as I checked, I always was inactive. Like my orchestrator was saying inactive, but I was still doing work.
yeah, so not sure what's going on there, but it's been reported twice, and the Explorer's doing something weird where, like, Livepeer Academy should be in the top 100 if someone with 3 LPT is. Like, this doesn't make any sense.
Livepeer Academy doesn't transcode, so you can't see if it's getting work or not, right?
Well, it's just pointed to Titan node, so
right. So it's all blended in.
It's all. I wouldn't be able to tell. Yeah. I could make it. I could quite easily spin up a T for itself and see if it's get work. I should probably do that.
Be interesting. That way you could have a real clean log to submit. For,
yeah.
I think there was a commit when they did the Arbitrum migration. I think I remember seeing a commit early on for that. So I think it may have been left behind. And
yeah, whatever that is, it needs to go because we don't need.
Because if people have been falling out and continuing to get work, then that's definitely a major problem.
Well, yeah, and it's not. Well, whether you can redeem the ticket is one thing, but the second, it takes away the work from the network, and it assumes that that somebody who can't get slashed is now going to be able to do work that is
shit up.
not. It's it's just not good. It's just not good for the network in general.
Yeah, I can confirm if you fall out of top 100, you don't get any work anymore.
Okay. But if you spin up a brand new node, you know what? I might just do that. I'm going to spin up a brand new node and see if while you're inactive, you get work. on
just pop in
on
like
round
one,
one.
like one LPT. Just pop in
Yeah,
like
just
one
pop
LPT.
in one
see what happens.
LPT, register the node, and see if on the first round while you're inactive you get work. I mean, it's very minimal cost since we're on Arbitrum, right?
Right. Yeah.
Delete your ETH account and recreate it every day, and you'll always get work.
Yeah. For 80 cents, you can just.
But you can't. But you can't. You can't claim the
80
ticket though. You can't claim your tickets though if you're inactive though.
How
Right?
do you know?
I thought that's what you were saying.
Well, I'm assuming, but
That was my assumption
You
too.
can't.
Is that if
You
you
can't
actually
call.
got
You
lucky
can't
and
call
won
reward
a
though. But you
ticket,
can't call reward, right?
No. But
see, that's what I was
So
thinking.
if
Is
you can't call
reward would
reward,
fail,
there's probably
and redeem I would think would fail. Redeem ticket would also fail. That would be my guess. All that blockchain activity, it's gonna query that registry. I would hope it does.
Will it though? Because if I bet you the smart contract logic is if you have the right hash of a winning ticket, you get it.
Capture it.
Yeah,
There you go. You might be right.
Why would the smart contract query any data about
External non-deterministic system? That's right. It's
Right.
going to just say, "Give me the hash. I'm good. Thank you."
Right?
Transfer funds.
Exactly. And what if you don't redeem the ticket? What if you become inactive, but you won a ticket from last round? What you don't?
You still should be able to get it.
Yeah, like the smart contract's not gonna care about who
That's right.
or what who, where, or when the hash came out, or no, when it matters. It needs to be within a certain range of rounds. But if you get the hash, then that smart contract's paying you, right? So I would think that.
Yeah, at the same time, if the broadcaster sends a winning ticket to any orchestrator and you as an orchestrator are able to capture that hash, you could claim their ticket.
That's right.
But obviously it's a secure channel between you and the broadcaster, so you can't intercept it. But if you could, you'd definitely be able to claim other people's tickets.
The whole dummy ETH account works based on that. So yeah.
God damn it, Mike! Give me your winning
Yeah, that's
tickets.
right. That's right. Yeah, hey man, if you can hack my server, dude, I'll let you have them all.
I'm gonna come
Go
in
for
and
it.
I'm gonna hack you. I'm gonna steal all your winning tickets.
With all the amount of tickets I've won in the last couple days, go for it, man. They're all yours. You can have them all.
Don't remember when they had that max file handle issue? My node didn't go down, so I know how to take yours down.
There you go. Bada boom.
Mike, you're not supposed to tell them about our call later today.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, we're gonna take down the other 98, and let Papa and I rule the roost. But we'll do that. We'll do that another time, Papa.
Till we catch up, you know.
There you go.
Get a little ETH cushion on ourselves.
Okay, so I mean, other than like people outside of the network doing transcoding and getting paid for it, those are pretty minor issues.
Is there some way someone can look on can query something to see have like tickets? I guess it's a pain in the ass to figure out if any tickets have been paid out to anyone who's not a registered orchestrator, but to go through all that and figure out which orcs or which addresses are registered or not is. I mean, I don't know how to do that query, and I think that it would probably take some manual then on top of it. I don't know if there's a way to run it against. Is this also a registered address as well? Does that make any sense? What I was even starting to say that I stopped myself halfway through.
Could, but I don't think it's worth it. It's probably good.
Well, let's let Hunter figure it out.
Yeah, it should be pretty simple. Like if someone's inactive, they shouldn't be getting work, and clearly that's not true. So, but that's actually not the most concerning part. The concerning part is Livepeer Academy should be on the list if the minimum is 2 to get in. So that's a problem. That's a problem.
There's a couple problems. They're all legit problems.
Because
issues.
You could say, like, I wonder if you started up a broadcaster node, could you send work to people that are not registered, like active? Like, why wouldn't you be able to modify the code to do that, right? Like, why can't a broadcaster just say, hey, I'm going to modify my code to not look at the first 100 orchestrators. I'm going to look at the first 200 and totally disregard their status of whether they're active. I want to send them work. A broadcaster
Well, it does that now, right? Like I spin up my broadcaster now, and I go in and say, I want these orcs, and I don't even care about the rest of them, right? Like I can specify 1,000 orcs if I wanted to.
But you know which ones, you know who you want to send it to, though. If you didn't know who's sitting there inactive, you wouldn't.
Oh, you mean just say modify Livepeer to say give me the entire registry, not just active?
Yes.
Yeah, you could do that.
So therefore, you could be an inactive orchestrator who gets work, participates on the network, because someone can just query that and decide to use it as an active list. Now, it's
but Livepeer Studio's not doing that, and that's the one sending work now, right?
Yeah. Of course, I think this is why I'm bringing it up to Hunter, because he's probably going, wait, that's not how we want it to work. But that being said, like, you can't really stop anyone from wanting to send work to someone else who's registered or not, right? In fact, being registered is only subjected to the software that you're running, right? Is it like if you're not like active on chain, are you? You're just past 100, so we deem you as inactive based on the round you started in, right? I think that's how it works. Anyway, this is clearly an issue. Bring it up to the Livepeer team. I'm sure they'll do some digging. But if anyone wants to do some testing as well, I might just spin up an O node in round 1 and just see if I get work. Would be interesting.
And we can get an issue started on that.
Yeah.
GitHub as well.
Yeah. John,
I'll dig around and see if I can find the commit from when we did the migration. I think I remember seeing this.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll spin up a node and see what happens. I'll start by setting Livepeer Academy to receive work as an inactive orchestrator, see if it gets anything, and then I'll just spin up another O and see if it works on round 1 and not round 2 kind of thing. Maybe that was the stipulation.
That sounds right.
Yeah. But it still doesn't justify the 3 LPT bonded in the top 100 active list. I don't know. I have no idea how. That doesn't answer to that question.
Right. There could be a problem with the Explorer. I think I know we had lost a couple of people. Like, is there anybody owning the Explorer right now, or is it just kind of community driven at this point?
Pretty sure Adam runs it.
It can't be community driven because there are databases, license keys. There's all kinds of stuff in there that they manage. So that is absolutely managed by Livepeer.
Okay. I didn't know if it's unlikely that there's a bug there, I guess. But it'd be interesting.
Well, if there's bugs, you can go check out the code and put changes in. I did this. They had an outage on the main page, and I was in there looking at it. And what I found was the code was all fine. It was running. They had a backend API that had a license key that I couldn't test that was down, and that was causing Explorer to break. So I was like, well, I can't fix this. I was like, somebody on your side's got to bring it up. And they went and, jiggled the handle or did whatever the heck they did. And, it came back. And I've noticed recently people have reported different. I think Pon reported a 404 on one of the pages. And again, they jiggled the handle on that service and then it started flushing again.
Oh, yeah. It'd be interesting to look at the query for the orchestrator list on that and just see what it's looking for.
I'm trying to do that right now. Give me about 5 minutes and I'll have that done. Someone wants to keep talking.
I'm curious, does anybody have quick access to the CLI right now? If you run option, what is it, 3? It gives the full active list.
That's what Papa Bear said he did.
Does that jive with what we see on the Explorer?
Papa, you did that test, right? You checked the CLI and you compared it?
Oh, the CLI? Yeah.
He said that, did you run the CLI and check that 100 and see if, does that match what we see in the Explorer?
I saw that that one was active, but let me see what is the minimum on the Explorer right now. Yeah, it matches the Explorer. Yes.
Wow.
Oh, well, I guess we can look at Livepeer code for that too then. It's got to be something in a protocol somewhere, it seems. Like a contract or something. And we don't have any version control on the smart contracts, is that correct? It'd be interesting to know if there was a way to
No,
see
it's
what
out there,
changed back then. Okay.
isn't it? Isn't that the smart contract source is out there?
Yeah, it's definitely obviously on the blockchain. Yeah, I guess that
No,
is
there's
the
a
version
GitHub
control.
repo. I was looking at the other day there's a protocol repo and they have that stuff all out there. So there's like you can run hard hat tests and stuff to verify the smart contract and stuff. Let me see if I can find it quick.
Yes, that would be helpful. Somebody's got to know if it's like on the smart contract. If we're seeing it across all these apps, probably, Explorer, CLI, it's same behavior. Probably it's and it may be in both places, like just on the O side and on the contract side would be my first guess.
Yeah, here it is. Water cooler chat. There it is. The protocol. That's where the contracts are.
Oh, thanks, Mike. Really interested in your discussion on Loki because we had Greylog running for quite a while and then started rebuilding and tearing things down and lost it. Been wanting to have that back. So I would like
Is
to see
that
how
a
Loki compares.
proprietary solution that you were using? Something you paid
There's
for?
an open source available, and then there's the
Okay.
supported one, and we used Journal Beat just to send it to Greylog.
Yeah. That's it's a common stack, right? A lot of people running distributed systems, they need to be able to centralize logging. So, the Elastic Stack, Beanstalk. I mean, there's all kinds of Kibana. There's a whole host of those that's technologies out there. But the Loki one, in particular, since we are Grafana Prometheus, a lot of the folks using that, we just figured that was the logical extension. Prometheus is metrics from Grafana, right? And then Loki is logging from Grafana. So, they just all kind of fit together nicely. And I think to the other point, to Speedybird's selling point was the fact is that it integrates with Alert Manager, and that will, make you proactive when things go down versus, having to go look at logs to see what happened. You're getting alerts from your logs telling you something's about to happen or something did happen so that you can be proactive. So to me, that's the big thing.
Yeah, that's good. I'll hope I can make it for that call Wednesday.
So, I'm just querying right now, and the minimum stake to get in is 578 LPT. And if I change it to 105, so if I search 105 places down, Livepeer Academy is at 104th place. So above Livepeer Academy is another orchestrator with 255, 466, 478. So the person with 3 LPT doesn't query onto this list, even into the 105th spot. So if I just query by the top 200, so this will be pretty much all the orchestrators. Like, by the time you get down to, I found him, 2.9. Here he is. He's in the 125th spot. Yeah. But he has a deactive.
Wow.
Yeah, so but he has a deactivation round. Oh, whoa. Okay, yeah, something somewhere has screwed up. He has an activation round and a deactivation round for some reason. That is not. Yeah. Yeah, he jumped 25 spots. Yeah. He shouldn't be in the list.
What's an activation versus deactivation round? Like, I mean, I've unbonded accidentally, one time and just went flatlined on stream. So
Let me share if I can.
it sounds like that first round is, you get in on the first round. That was like when I would say like whenever that one time happened to me back last June it was June or July when I unstaked everything accidentally. As soon as I put the stake back on, it started coming back, even though it was in a pending status. It said like I was activation pending or whichever.
So I threw into the water cooler chat the query on the graph. So you can just click the link and it'll pre-fill in the query for the first 100 spots. Order descending top to bottom. So top is like varies or whatever, and the bottom one is going to be the last person. So as you can see, it's 500, and if you want to see further down the list in the query, just where it says first 100, you can just change that to like 125 or something, and you'll start seeing people below the 100 if you scroll down. So 130, 100. Oh, he's even further down. He's actually 133, 132. So he's the 132nd spot. If you search first 132, you'll see he's at the very bottom. So he's in the 132nd place, and he has a deactivation round active. So it doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna bring that up here in the Orchestrator support chat here.
If you look at that link I posted to Livepeer tools, it has the top 120, but it filters by the active flag. And if you could look at it there, I don't see anything with less than 180 something LPT on there, right? Like maybe it's even higher. Let me go look again. Yeah, 167. I don't understand how these lower tier staked orcs are considered active.
Don't you need to do like the call transcoder on the contract to like have a chance to become active? Maybe it gets like checked how many active transcoders there are, and if some orchestrator with a bigger LPT stake would do that, the 3 LPT one would get kicked out.
No, because I've been Livepeer Academy has gone in and out of the top 100 about 5 times, and it's always automatic. You become active. So
yeah, I thought the same as Vires, but 2 people have confirmed that that's not the case. So
yeah,
at least for them.
Yeah, so my Orchestrator, it has better call reward on, so it's just calling reward pretty much indefinitely. And I keep getting errors saying, hey, like your Orchestrator is not listed, it fell out of the top 100, you didn't call reward essentially, right? But I would put a 100 stake on there, and it would get back into the active list the next round. So by having it call reward, I don't know if that was activating it, or if that was activating it, or it does it automatically. But it's still actively trying to call reward to this day, even though it's in the 105th spot. So it should be theoretically beating the 3 stake person, and it's done it like 4 or 5 times already. So I don't know why it would all of a sudden skip me. It is weird though, because there's no way 32 spots are not going to be filled before it hits 3 LPT. So yeah, there's something
When
going
does the
on.
next round? When does the next round initialize?
The next
round, you asked?
It's probably, it says in 15 hours.
Is it possible this resolves itself when that happens?
Yeah,
I
maybe.
don't think so, because this has been going on before. I mean, since before this round. This isn't just from this round. I mean,
But
this was actually the same exact thing happened. I mean, it was in the same state yesterday before this round. This new round started. And I think there were some other reports of it happening before that just we were unaware of.
yeah, I just don't know how he got in. It doesn't make any sense. And then how people outside of the top 100 are getting work is also another mystery. There's 2 mysteries. But
Yeah, very possibly related.
maybe.
I'll do some digging this evening, see what I can find.
Um, go ahead, John.
Yeah, no, nothing to add really there. No, it's a really curious thing, but I'll look into it.
One last topic I wanted to cover. Does
I
anyone
have one more to add afterwards too.
Okay. Mine's a quick
Just
one.
wanted you to know. I just wanted you to know so you don't just cut off after this and just be like, all right, see you guys later.
Okay. Mine is just around getting is there software that anyone knows to transcribe audio? And then I want to use ChatGPT to summarize the audio or the notes. Basically, I want to take these water coolers and I want there to be like a 2-sentence or a 3-sentence like overview of what was discussed, what the key points were, like, all those kind of things. And then just
actually, this is something Alex talked about a little bit a while ago. It's called Whisper.
Okay.
Yeah, and apparently that's exactly what it does. It transcribes. So maybe that's something worth looking into. I haven't checked it out, but
I thought I heard of something called Otter.ai. I think that's another thing that does it. I don't remember if that's applicable or not, but I think that's one of them.
I feel
or
like
you could upload it to. Doesn't YouTube also transcribe the stuff too now? You can just upload it to YouTube, grab that, and then stick it into ChatGPT.
I'm sure there's lots of like
not the
YouTube
most
might do it
elegant way.
too.
Not the most elegant way, but
I'm just one. Yeah, well, I'm sure there's a way, and so obviously I'm just gonna ask off the hop. Like, does anyone know of software? I think I saw Otter, but I think Otter is like, well, you gotta pay to use Otter, but it also is for like meeting minutes that you do live. Like, it's not you. I don't know if you can upload things. Maybe you can. I don't know.
Oh, I see. It's been so long. I looked at that a while ago. I don't remember even what it was solving, but I just recall it doing transcription services.
I guess just
I can put a link
transcription.
in for you if you want to check it out.
Yeah. Because I think I can do it in my own editing software. I use Camstia. And I think I could probably get the transcribed. And then Chat GPT. I wonder if Is there a limit to the amount of stuff you can put into ChatGPT, or is this like, should I be using some sort of different software? Because I don't think ChatGPT will actually do it properly.
I
I'm
think there
not
is a
sure.
limit.
I
think
know
there's a
they
limit
have
to
a
how much you
pro
can do.
model now for ChatGPT. Maybe that has more functionality for that kind of stuff.
Model, yeah.
Got
I
that
have vague
paywall up. Got to start making money.
I vaguely remember Microsoft Teams had a feature. This was like 2015 when they announced it, and it was like, I guess Cortana would take the notes of your meeting and send it out to the attendees and stuff. And it sounds like what you're looking for, but I know Microsoft isn't the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah,
And
I
it's not
use
like a deep
Teams
meta.
at work, and it has, I'll do recordings and stuff, and it'll transcribe and all that. That's great, but I think he's more looking like after the fact.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I wanted to do both. I feel like transcribing audio is like easy. I think there's a lot of models for that. But then to get the gist of a conversation, I think would require modeling, like I feel like that would require some sort of like open AI version of getting the gist of topics and condensing them down into something that is at least relatively close to what we talked about. It would be really nice to go through the last year and a half of water coolers and read a 1 or 2 sentence update of what was discussed and what was the hot topic of that water cooler. And
I bet you if you post it in the Chat GPT, the whole transcription, it'll come back with something close to that. I don't know if it's going to be good enough, but I think it'll come back.
I think there is a limit to how much you can put in there, because I think I've just seen people talk
The
about
text limit. Yeah, the text limit.
breaking things up
There might be a limit. Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, just something I was kind of messing around with. I don't know if it's really that useful, or I just think it would be good to like throw in the summary of the video when I upload it to LensTube, because you could just like almost read a summary of it before, like meeting minutes, right? Like without it them being minutes. Like I don't know anyone that wants to actually sit here and take minutes on these meetings, right? Like it's not, but I know Doug requested that. He was like, "Can please someone give me a summary of what is being talked about?" And I was like, yeah, this is not a formal meeting with minutes. And if I had to do minutes, I don't know if I'd want to come to these meetings. It would be way too much work.
Right.
This super I want to automate all the super unfun things away from this meeting, right? Right now, this is enjoyable. I like this style of it. I just hop on, we talk, and I upload it. Even uploading it to YouTube afterwards is kind of annoying, but I've gotten good feedback that people like it, so I'm going to continue doing it. But it would be nice to have some sort of summary of all the water coolers, where maybe if you had a question or you missed one, or hey, this big topic came out and I kind of would like to hear about that, you could kind of go back through it and read about it.
I mean, just doing a quick search, tons of things came up that will transcribe the video into text.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
I
even
don't
like
know
Premiere
how good they
has
were.
that
Okay.
functionality. But if you wanted something that transcribes it live, so you don't have to touch anything, you'd have to use some sort of AI.
Build a real-time transcription app in Python. Oh my goodness. Fktkunsman, what have you linked here? Assembly AI and Streamlit? I don't need it to be real time. I just need it to be done after the fact. But that could be a good tool.
You're cool just loading it into loading it into something and letting it do it afterwards.
Yeah, feed the machine.
Yeah, your editing software will probably be good enough.
Yeah, like I don't think getting the actual transcription, like the wording, is going to be the hard part. I think there's lots of programs that could probably do that quite well.
Yeah,
But
the question is,
yeah.
You're gonna just have to take some long text and just throw it into Chat GPT and see how it does with a big chunk before and see if you run into a limit.
I'm gonna upload a Harry Potter book into it and see
I was
what
gonna
it
say,
tells
just
me.
pull a section out of like some ebook or something like that and see what it does. Like, give me however many sentence breakdown you want of it. I'm gonna guess, since Joey didn't say anything, that that I will ask the question that he asked me if I would ask, because he probably can't talk, is my guess. I'm sorry. Are we done with the? Were we done with the?
Yeah, we're done. Yeah, you can go. You can do.
I was just wondering. So we're trying to build for our pool. It's we have one, but we wanted to be able to do our own test streams that test the transcoders that are connected. And it works, but we're not very good with FFmpeg. So I was wondering if anyone is good with FFmpeg and knows how. Like, what's happening now is the stream that we have to test with, it's getting re-encoded every time, which is using a lot of CPU because it's being done on a machine that doesn't have a GPU. And I know that you can just copy, like, like if you're changing like from different containers, you can just copy the encoded file. I'm just wondering if anyone can either point me in the right direction of where to look up, or if anyone knows how to do that, or if there's someone I can chat with later that can maybe help me work something out, because it just seems ridiculous to be transcoding the video that we're sending out to be transcoded every single time we want to do a test stream. Anyone?
John, aren't you an FFmpeg master?
Not quite a master, just kind of intro, but I was thinking about what I could do to help there. So you're saying it's being encoded twice when it hits the CPU?
Yeah, like, I mean, we've got the file, like, basically that we want to be able to send out as a test stream, but we can't make it work unless we basically re-encode it as we're sending it to the broadcaster, like back into another, H.264 file. So it's going H.264, like, is what it's saved at, and then if we just use like normal, like, kind of copy functions, or at least what we think should work, then it gives us some kind of error. But if we transcode it again into H.264 and send it to the broadcaster, everything's happy except for that we're pinning out the CPU.
Right, you have to broadcast to the broadcaster, basically RTMP format, I guess, or that's the protocol. But
right, so
you just don't send a straight file to it. Like, you have to stream it to it.
Right, but does it need to be does it make sense that it would have to be re-encoded if it's already in the right format?
I think because just by the nature of, you're asking for a transcode job to be done by broadcasting to an O, I think it's gonna encode it into whatever format you request, regardless of what format it's in to begin with.
Right, but the problem is we can't send it from we can't get it to the broadcaster without transcoding it from like the original file format that's already in like basically like should be a compatible format. I mean, it's already an H.264. We just want to be able to send it to the broadcaster that will then send it basically to the O to a transcoder, so that we can like get metrics on them, and like, basically just like the test streams that we receive now. I don't know how Livepeer does it. I don't know what. I'm assuming they're not transcoding everything to send it to their broadcaster to send it to us for test streams.
Yeah, I know you can use FFmpeg to send an RTMP stream to your broadcaster.
Right, which is
I guess that would be encoding, right?
Doing.
Yeah, that's the only thing I've ever done.
I mean, but like when you're like, okay, so you've done that. You've used FFmpeg to send a stream to the broadcaster.
RTMP push type thing.
Right, but did you have to retranscode the file to send it out, like, to the broadcaster, or were you able to just like use it in the format that it was already in, but just push it? Like, all we want to do is push a file. We don't want to transcode it. We want to let the transcoder transcode it.
Yeah, as far as I know, it has to be broken into the segments to do all of that. So I guess the longest you can do is 8 seconds in a segment, technically. So I think you would have to encode it as you stream it to, if I'm understanding this correctly, but I've maybe done this like once or twice as far as RTMP streaming with raw FFmpeg. So
as I'm thinking about it,
really...
like, do you know, is there somewhere in, like, now I'm just thinking, Does Livepeer have that in their code somewhere on the open source thing, how their test stream thing works? Because we could probably go in there and figure it out from that.
I haven't seen it, but that would be cool if they did. There is a stream tester tool that
You ever played with it?
Actually I haven't to a large degree. Like I think I pulled the code and I didn't even really run it. So
Right. Maybe we should look into that.
definitely, that would be, and that's another. There's a lot of projects we had that fits with that, so that would be good to get familiar with it. And that way we would know.
I guess what we really need to do is figure out how does Livepeer do their test streams, because we're basically just looking to do something similar to that, but just on for our own transcoders. I can't imagine that Livepeer's transcoding everything every time.
Yeah, there's got to be a less resource intensive way to do it. We've built so Brad made a test tool. You could just put in an orc address and it'll send a test stream to them. And it was just using the price for broadcaster where we whitelisted it.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what we're trying to do. So Brad made something like that.
He does. He has such a thing. Yeah, already built. So.
Yeah. It was kind of in lines with the reliability and performance dashboard.
Is there a GitHub for that, or is that like something he just has?
I think he said he had in a private repo, but there is a link I'll have to dig around and find. But
here
it is. I have it right here.
Oh,
cool.
Awesome.
Here, I'll get the link for you. I'll throw it in the.
Last couple times I tried it, it wasn't working, but it definitely worked for a while, and we could probably work them to get it going again and see what how that was built.
Thank you. I see that. Would you Titan? Oh, bad gateway.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
It just sends Big Bunny out.
So there you go. That's how it's working. Yeah. It's working great.
That's how it works, huh? So did that work at some point for you?
Yeah.
I mean, where'd you get that from?
Yeah.
That's directly from Brad. He's in the audience. Brad, where are you? Right. Come on, get up here.
Oh, Brad's here. He might not be able to talk now, but I might hit him up later.
Yeah, just hit him up. He'll send you the link. And it was working. Awesome. It worked great. So.
Yeah, I hope that helps.
Definitely. I know it can be done. I just know I know that what we're doing is not the right way to do it. I mean, it works, but it's not the right way to do it.
John, can you give us an update on the upgrade to the transcoder error thing you've been working on there? Big breakthrough we had.
Yeah, that was a really great success story. So yeah, we've over the weekend we completed the tests and got the code reviewers happy, and so actually it's still pending approval. It's approved by Rafael, but we're waiting on Tom to look at it again too. So I know a few people had worked on this because we were seeing issues. The nature of the problem was that if we disconnected, we had 2 or more remote transcoders connected to an O. If one of the transcoders was disconnected, if all the transcoders had streams on them and one got disconnected, it would not always move all the streams to the other transcoder, and in many cases it would fail, and so essentially the other transcoder would stay connected, but it would stop getting work, like it was not in the live map or something, and then the other one would fully shut down. So we did a lot of testing. I mean, you had Titan, Brad, myself, and we had I think we ultimately went with 4 remote T. It was 2 remote Ts and 4 streams each, and we eventually were able to test that. It was just real world testing until we found it. We came across. We started off our call. It was 2 hours or more, I think we spent on that, and I was looking at the code, the function that was in question, and we tested that thing for quite a while before we were like, let's just delete a good section of code here and just simplified it. So it was a great example of simplification with the code, and I think it's a big thing because actually I think it's been affecting us more. As I mentioned earlier, we had an outage last night where just one of the transcoders stopped working and the other one went with it, and so did all the streams. So in theory, this bug fix will make it so that you'll have more redundancy and failover with your nodes, and that it'll help with pool operators too, because they won't be having these issues of mystery drops, I guess you might call them.
we've already implemented your code into ours, and it works. It's been working so far. So
Yeah,
thank you.
I think Titan's been running it longer than us, but yeah, we actually saw the issue happen firsthand, and we're like, all right, time to put Elite's thing in.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad I was able to help out the community. This has been plaguing me since like April last year.
Dude,
But it wasn't like a thing.
This has been an issue since I joined Livepeer. Like literally
Wow.
2 years ago, people were like, I'm really seeing weird results when I connect two transcoders. It's like this has been a massive issue for years. So yeah, huge bug fix in the Go Livepeer repo. So like big shout out to everyone there that was helping out. So I'm running this version in production in London and Frankfurt, and it's working great. So yeah, I can't wait for it to get released into an official release.
That is
Oh, by the
awesome to
way,
hear.
in the yeah, huge props, Elite. Thank you so much. Sorry to completely cut off the topic, but the link you put for Brad's broadcaster thing doesn't work.
Yeah,
Goes to a
we already talked about that.
Yeah, defer to
We did.
Brad, who's not in. Who's in the audience.
I
You can defer to
stepped
him.
away for a minute. My
Yeah,
bad.
no, it's all good. That was the link I bookmarked. But hey, this is where we're at. So maybe he's updated it somewhere.
And there's a new release coming out. It was supposed to get generated this morning, I think. But I was pushing to try to get this fix in. I had 2 PRs, and one of them already got merged, but the transcoding one hasn't. The bug fix hasn't been merged yet. So it looks like they're waiting until tomorrow at least to build that release, and hopefully it'll get merged in the morning.
Nice. Yeah, it'd be really disappointing if that didn't make it into the next release.
Yeah, I was working late all night. I was up at like 4 a.m. waiting on Rafal to come online, and then like as soon as he commented on my PR, like I got up out of bed and responded. It's like it's not going to miss this release.
That's a commitment right there. Thank you.
All right. Well, there we go.
This is our first. We haven't done a 2-hour one in a while. Good job, guys.
Very good. I see that. Ooh, I got Hunter and DOB commenting on my little find there. So this is very exciting. I'm going to hop up there and continue the conversation. I appreciate you all being here. It's been 2 hours, and we've been able to crank through a lot of different topics. We got Mamood in with us, which I'm really stoked about. I don't know if people noticed, but he was an Amazon Prime guy for like 5 years, video guy who's got a patent in video technology, and yeah, he'll be like a huge asset to this whole ecosystem, I think. So I've been trying to get him up and going. I don't even care how much transcoding work he does. I think he's just got it running on his laptop, and I'm like, perfect. Like, just get into the community because he can bring some really big insight into production. Like I think the last project he was on, 50 million users were using the software he developed for Amazon Prime Video. So
amazing.
Yeah, so like he's got like he's what we would call an expert in modern transcoding video stuff. So I'm glad he's here. Please help him out as he goes through the beginning ropes of this whole journey. And yeah, other than that, big shout out to him and also any other new transcoder that has joined us recently, of course. Yeah, thank you so much. Trying to get some people for Q&As next couple water coolers if possible. Hoping to line that up. Otherwise, yeah, we will see you all next week. Thank you for coming. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thanks,
Thanks.
Titan.
Thanks.
See you later.